Channel 5 Network. This is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. Good show tonight. Talking about Metro's budget and also a proposal that's gotten a lot of attention. That is the proposed soccer stadium at the Fairgrounds, a land deal that is part of that. Certainly that has gotten a lot of attention. The Metro budget has gotten an awful lot of attention, as it should. There is a budget shortfall. There is a proposal out there to raise property taxes to deal with that shortfall. So we want to talk about all of that tonight. Important stuff. We're going to get into it with Steve Glover, Metro Councilman representing the Hermitage area. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Generally, you would consider yourself conservative, right?
Oh, yeah. Not generally.
Okay,
I
just
am.
Period. You have been very outspoken against this soccer stadium.
Yes.
It passed. You were one of 6 to vote against it.
Actually, it did not pass. All we did was we gave permission that if all the other requirements are met, then they could go and secure the bonds. But it did not pass as far as saying you can go do this, you can go do that yet. No, there's a lot of other conditions that have to be met.
You have recently put out there a proposal. There's this 10 acres of land.
Correct.
That is being given, I guess, leased for 99 years.
I call it sold, but okay, you call it lease, I call it sold.
For I guess I believe it's for 99 years.
Correct.
To the people, the owners of the soccer team.
Correct.
You think leasing that 10 acres, giving that 10 acres, is not a good idea?
It's a terrible idea. I mean, right now, let's look at where we are financially in the city. We're talking about selling off other pieces of property to try and maintain our budget for this current year, yet we're willing to give away 10 prime acres at the fairgrounds. Help me understand how that works, because I got to tell you, I don't get it. And I haven't gotten it from the very beginning, and that's why I fought it. And that's why I will continue to fight it, because it's a bad deal for the taxpayers.
Now they're saying that those that are trying to bring soccer to Nashville, that is integral to the deal.
Of course it is. Once you understand the actual numbers of the deal, they talk about having 27,500 people at each game. If you look at the soccer across the country, the average audience, the average attendance at a soccer game for the league we would be a part of is just below 15,000. That's about $12,000 shy, or 12,000 shy of what they are actually projecting. So of course that's integral in order for them to, quote, make it pay. I don't think the taxpayers of Nashville need to pick that tab up.
If it meant we don't get one of these expansion teams,
okay,
you're okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
It's a sport that it's a popular sport. Supposed to be the sport of the future, all of that. We would be left out of that. They're saying, I guess, what I understand them to be saying is this is a major part of the deal. If we renege on this, the whole thing could fall apart.
So let's go through reneging, okay? So I specifically ask our council, and I'm talking about our legal counsel, what contracts have we, the city, signed on behalf of the city with this deal? There have been no contracts signed, and if there have been, then I guess I was fibbed to, and I guess that'll be a whole nother conversation. But as of right now, you know, am I fine with doing it? Yeah, I am, because I'm not fine with raising taxes. I'm not fine with putting another burden on top of the taxpayers' back. I'm not fine with giving away free land. I'm not fine with doing things outside of the way our codes are set up and everything else, of which we're doing. And that's what we've been doing from the very beginning. This is what they always do to us in the council. The administration brings us and says, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this. You know what? If Nashville is the city that soccer needs to expand into, it should be able to hold its own.
And you're passionate about this.
Oh, yeah.
You're one of 6 that voted against in that first vote.
Correct.
Why do you think only 6 joined you and voted against it?
I think if they'd have done that vote Friday after that Tuesday vote, there wouldn't have been 6 of us, because that Thursday, 48 hours later, they announced they were closing Metro General Hospital. So I think the vote would have been completely different. I mean, we got hoodwinked, in my opinion. But yeah, I believe we got hoodwinked. If we did the vote 72 hours later, it wouldn't have been only 6 of us who said no, in my opinion.
In your opinion, you think it would change if it were later. So here we are. It is later now, and it's more than Metro General. We have a budget shortfall.
Yep.
We have all kinds of issues, and you've brought up this bill that would take away that 10 acres.
1205, yes.
Scrapping the 10 acres. The mayor says I think what I understand the mayor to say, it's inappropriate to renegotiate the deal in this manner, and doing so could create a precedent that would hurt the city moving forward.
Okay, so let's talk about inappropriate. Here's what's inappropriate. The Metro employees were promised a raise of 3% COLA, cost of living adjustment. They were promised that. The council passed it on June 20th of last year. The mayor, then Barry, signed it on June 21st. We made a promise to our employees. The same mayor who's saying it's inappropriate for me to ask us to renege on this deal has reneged on the promise we, as the council and the administration at the time, promised the employees. So don't talk to me about something that's not appropriate on reneging on after we've let down thousands and thousands of people who were relying on us to do the right thing for the people who go out and work on our behalves every day. So I won't back down. I won't apologize.
Are those two things connected?
In my opinion.
If we were to go back on this deal, could we then fund those pay raises?
Well, this one deal is not the only thing that would actually fund the pay raises. But don't tell me what I'm doing is inappropriate and it's out of line, because the only thing we voted on last November was to give permission, once all the conditions were met, to let the Sports Authority issue bonds, okay? We did not guarantee a giving away of 10 acres. We did not guarantee a site at the fairgrounds. We didn't guarantee anything. All we said was, okay, in order for you to go and get the team, then 31 people, I think it was, voted to say, yep, you will give you the opportunity to issue the bonds once you've met all the other conditions. Now here's the difference between what we did last year with RS 2017 717, 718, and 719. We specifically told the employees of every department in Metro that we were going to honor, starting on July 1, 2017, a 2% COLA, then on July 1, 2018, a 3% COLA, and then again on July 1, 2019, a 3% COLA. Now that we voted on, that we passed. So tell me, am I reneging on my word? No. That's why we're working diligently to try and figure out what we can do for the employees of Nashville.
All right, and that is almost, yeah, that's the other major issue I want to get into, the budget. What do we do with the shortfall? And I want to continue talking. We'll talk about the soccer stadium. But well, then let me ask you. So where where you are, is that you've come back with this proposal that would scrap the 10-acre part of this.
If you want the stadium on the fairgrounds, that's fine.
So now you're okay with that?
Yeah, I've always been okay with that. But we're not going to give away 10 acres.
Lease the 10 acres, whatever the word is.
It's not leasing. 99 years from now, are you going to be here? I won't be. So
that 10 acres is. I know others have expressed the same concern. So you had only 6 people vote with you against this last time. What do you feel like you are now?
I'm not sure. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I will never guess what council members will vote for. I will tell you their awareness is extremely heightened. And I will say this again. If the vote had taken place 72 hours after it did, once the announcement was made for Metro General Hospital, I doubt there'd have been 31 votes. That's just my opinion.
And so if they say, well, you scrap that 10 acres, the whole soccer deal falls apart, you're okay with that? Yeah,
I'm okay with protecting the taxpayers any day of the week. I will never apologize for protecting the taxpayers.
All right, so now as we set the table, I also want to talk a little bit about our budget situation.
Okay.
We have to pass a budget by the end of this month.
Correct.
We have a budget shortfall. We're not able to do the things we promised we were going to do, primarily those pay raises to Metro employees.
Actually, it's cost of living adjustments.
Cost of living, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the answer is?
Do the right thing. Let's figure out what our priorities are. Let's honor the things that we have truly voted and passed, which the cost of living adjustments are certainly one of those. Let's do that. Let's take care of schools, and let's figure out what kind of money we have left, and then figure out what else we can do.
All right, there's a proposal out there for an increase in property taxes. What do you think about that proposal?
No, because I don't think it's right to hold the taxpayers of Nashville hostage because we've made bad decisions over the last few years. I've been warning us that this is where we were heading to. I mean, I've warned and warned, and people just, you know, they say I grandstand, I do this, I do that. I'm not grandstanding. I've been telling people, I've been extremely transparent on where I saw us being and where we are currently. And so therefore, we have put the taxpayers in Nashville in a very awkward position.
We've promised this pay raise, cost of living adjustment. And so, yeah, you say we should follow through with that. You say there shouldn't be a property tax increase. How do we do that without a property tax increase?
We cut the non-essentials. We cut the non-essential things. Once again, fund it. Let's make the cuts. Let's determine what can be cut, how deep we cut those things, determine what exactly it does for us. Let's do the same thing we did a year ago when everything was given away for free. And let's make the cuts back. Let's find out what it does to the city. And then a year from now, we reevaluate and determine, you know, what exactly should we do with regards to property taxes.
When you say cut, then what do you mean by non-essentials? What do you mean?
Outside of public safety and education, everything else is a kind of a gift. I mean, it's not something that is necessary. When you dial 911, if somebody's trying to break into your house, you're having a heart attack, you're having a medical emergency, etc., you want that phone call answered. You want our people responding. When you send your children to our schools, you want them educated. Those are the top two priorities that we have in Nashville. Outside of that, the rest of it is just icing on the cake. It's not the cake. And so that's why I'm taking the position I'm taking.
Parks would be closed, libraries.
Not saying the parks would be closed. I'm simply saying until we fund those top two things, then we determine what we have left. There's money that's left over. We wouldn't have to close the parks. We wouldn't have to close the libraries. Would we have to scale back some things? Possibly. But, you know, we fund our top priorities first and then determine what we have left. That's what you do in your house. That's what I do in my house.
And the last question before I start taking calls, and we have a lot of calls here. The number one question I get, I'm sure you get it, this city's booming. There is enormous growth.
Yeah.
How in the world do we have a budget shortfall? What has gotten us to this point?
We have overspent. Last year, in the budget, the final day of the budget hearings, or not hearings, excuse me, when we were walking through the budget process, I questioned why are we taking $70+ million out of our savings account to operate the city during these economic boom times? And the answer I got back was, well, we're not actually going to use it. And my response back was, well, if it's in the budget, you're going to use it. Well, not only have we used that, we've used greater than that.
You're talking about money we've taken out of the rainy day fund.
That's right.
We've operated that way for 4 years at least.
Well, yeah, we have. And I've been warning about it for 3.5 now. 3.5.
And now there's not as much money in the rainy day fund.
It's nowhere near.
And we can't do that anymore.
No, we can't.
And when we've overspent, what is the primary thing, in your opinion, we've overspent on? If you could identify it.
One thing, that's the problem. There's not one thing, Ben. I mean, there's a multitude of things that we've done. We have added additional money to MTA. We've added, you know, we put $10 million in for the Barnes Fund. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I realize affordable housing needs to be there, but we didn't cover the essentials first. And so I realize when I say the Barnes Fund, I talk about MTA, I talk about adding money for here and all the other things. I'm not saying that it was a bad move as far as, you know, having those services. It was a bad move because economically we did not understand the repercussions of trying to be all things to all people. We can't do that. That's not our job.
All right, we're going to take a break. We have a lot of calls. So hold on the line. I think there's one line open. There's the number 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.